I say it every week, but this time I really mean it. This is an exciting weekend of Premier League football, and it could be pivotal at both ends of the table. Remember, my predictions are absolutely golden, and you can take them all to the bank, but I think I've actually been doing all right in the last couple of weeks. Don't know where that form's come from. But let's dive into these predictions. We start with Leicester City versus Leeds United. Well, let's just start with Leicester before we get on to Leeds, because there's a bit to unpack there. They had their first win in the Premier League of 2022. I can't believe that. That's absolutely crazy. But Rodgers has been under seemingly no pressure whatsoever. Yeah, they beat Burnley by 2-0. They left it late. But the big man is back, isn't he? Vardy is back. The key figure that lifts everybody by a given percentage in that Leicester side. But they're such a better side when he's there. He lifts the crowd. He lifts the whole team. So expect Leicester to be more galvanised in this game. But Leeds United are reborn. The Bielsa era is over. And it is quite sad. This guy, we all saw it coming though, didn't we? This guy did an amazing job getting Leeds United back into the Premier League. Long overdue for them to be back in the Premier League. Amazing last season. Got a bit unstuck this season. Injuries didn't help. I mean, losing players like Bamford. We talked about Vardy. Bamford is that similar figure for this Leeds United side. And they haven't had him for virtually the whole season. But Bielsa was so stubborn with his tactics. And it'll be interesting to see what Jesse Marsch can do. Another German manager coming in. Used to manage RB Leipzig. So Leeds fans will be weird. Because it'll be like the first time in donkey's years they're actually going to be playing with like a game plan and a structure rather than just 11 players randomly running around the pitch. So I think it will take a little bit of getting used to, because there was a lot of love for Bielsa, and now you might have a bit more of a pragmatic approach to games. Because I think the biggest thing is he'll try and keep it tight and try and nick a few wins, because that's what Leeds United need, because they are in serious trouble down the bottom of the league, and a new managerial bounce could be the difference really between them staying up and going down. But I don't think they're going to get it here. Although Leicester are terrible at defending set pieces, I don't see Leeds as a side that's really going to exploit that. And I see Leicester winning this game. I see it being a 2-1 Leicester win. Aston Villa versus Southampton. The Saints are in great form, and it carries on going. Again, unsung heroes really. Another one, Che Adams, he stepped up for the goal. Romelu with a super strike as well for the 2-0 win they had over Norwich last time out. But Aston Villa are also looking pretty good under Gerrard. They came over their little blip with a much needed victory over Brighton. Watkins with a goal. It's the first time in ages he seems to score. I really like Ollie Watkins, and Jacob Ramsey just continues to impress. What a talent he is. So exciting times for both of these clubs, and I think a share of the spoils really. What can you say? Two sides Saints in good form. I think Villa needed that win last time out, so I'm going to go for a draw, 1-1. Burnley versus Chelsea. Well, this is a massive game for Burnley, isn't it? They should be looking at this game and thinking they have a genuine chance of upsetting this Chelsea side. Chelsea, they lost in the Carabo Cup final, struggling in the game as I speak against Luton in the FA Cup. And as I keep saying over and over again, no game is easy for Chelsea at the moment. Nothing is a formality, nothing is easy, and expect a very similar performance from Burnley to what you saw against Liverpool, where they really put in a great performance. They really could have got something out of that Liverpool game. If only they could have taken their chances. I expect this Burnley side to cause Chelsea some problems. It's just whether or not they can take their chances or not. And that is the big difference. If they can, then they'll really start to believe they can stay up. But I think the Blues are going to nick it again, like what they did against Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago now. Was it last weekend? I forget. But yeah, I think Chelsea are going to get another very narrow win. I'm going to go for Burnley 0, Chelsea 1. Newcastle United versus Brighton Hove Albion. They're flying. They're absolutely flying, Newcastle United. What a resurgence they've had under Eddie Howe. And it doesn't seem like it's going to stop. They are missing some key players as well. Don't forget that. They're missing Trippier, they're missing Callum Wilson, they're missing St. Maximan. They still got the job done against Brentford. Yes, they had an early red card, which helped them out a lot. But Joe Willock back in the goals. And Joel Linton, What a resurgent player he is. Credit to Eddie Howe for playing him in the midfield, because he looked just lost when you played him as a forward, rarely scored, but now he looks a rejuvenated figure in that midfield and adding a lot to Newcastle and really helping them pick up points. But just all over the pitch, they look a lot stronger. Ryan Fraser talked a lot about what Eddie Howe has done, considering they left in bad terms when Ryan Fraser left Bournemouth. It was interesting to see how much glowing praise he heaped on Eddie Howe last weekend. But he does deserve it. And it does look like Newcastle are going to be okay, but they need to keep getting those points. Brighton have gone right off the boil. Again, when they don't score the goals, when they do start shipping a few, it's very hard for them to pick up points. They were quite well beaten in the end by Aston Villa, although they did have their chances in that game. I think Newcastle will win this one as well. I'm going to go for I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Norwich City versus Brentford. You think this is it, isn't it? Especially for Norwich. You would think if they lose this game, they're down. I really do think so. This is be all and end all for Norwich City in this one. If you can't beat Brentford at home, whew, I don't see you staying up at all. But Brentford need points too. Brentford are falling like a stone. I talk about it every single week, and I know other people are too. But they are plummeting. But Eriksen hopefully can galvanise that group. Just him coming back on that pitch was a great moment. The fans warmed to it. Both sets of fans did. And, obviously, what a terrible story. It's lovely to see him back in terms of him as a guy and as a footballer. But also it's important for what a leader he can be to this Brentford side. He can really be the touch of class that they need to take them, to get them the few points they need to stay up in the Premier League. And he can be the difference. But he needs to start showing it, and he needs to get up to fitness, which may take a few weeks yet. And that is why I am leaning towards Norwich in this one. I think the likes of Rasica, I think the likes of Sargent, and I think the likes of Pukki can cause this side some problems. And I think Norwich will nick this game. I'm going to go for Norwich City 2, Brentford 0. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Crystal Palace. Well, expect another tight game here. Palace are on a high, getting to the FA Cup quarter-finals. Wolves suffering another heart-breaking defeat. It's back-to-back tight losses for them, so they really need to get a win here to keep that momentum going, to try and get into Europe, because it would be a fantastic achievement if Lager got this side into European football. Don't expect a lot of goals in this one, no. I do expect the scoreline to be narrow. I am going to go for a slight Wolves win here, and I'm backing a lot of the home sides, but I just think it's going to be a 1-0 win for the Wolves. Liverpool versus West Ham United. This could be the game of the weekend. I see this being an excellent, entertaining game. The Carabo Cup winners are looking to end Saturday on top of the Premier League table, and who can back against them doing it? They look, and I hate to say it, they look unbeatable at the moment. They look formidable up front. What a signing Luis Diaz has been. He's come into the Premier League and it looks easy for him, and that's as big a compliment as you can pay a player. The young man to come in. He looks like he's got an exceptional bright future. Liverpool already building for the future while they've already got an amazing squad. And it's going to be really hard to see West Ham stopping this Liverpool side. West Ham, they have to keep the game tight. They have to try and, last time out they managed to nick it. Souček, he needs to step up and score more goals like he did last season. He's found it a little bit more difficult. Antonio still can't score, although he did get a good assist in the last game. And they'll always be looking towards Bowen. They'll be looking towards Rice to keep that back line nice and tight and keep it protected. But I can't see it. I just can't see anybody stopping Liverpool at the moment until the side goes and does stop them. You just can't see them slowing down any momentum here. I think it'll end up Liverpool 3, West Ham United 1. Watford versus Arsenal. Well, Arsenal had a nice little rest last weekend, didn't they? So they'll be nice and fresh because they haven't played since that late comeback win over Wolves. Still with fourth place firmly in their sights, and they're looking all the more confident every time that they play. Pepe has come back from AFCON, and he looked like a player that you'd be certain to ship out of the club. But he looks in fine form now. He looks like a player reborn after playing in the African Cup of Nations, and he's added a lot of threat to this Arsenal side. I still really do miss a cutting-edge striker. I really thought Martinelli would be that guy, because Lacazette, work rate is great, but not sticking the ball in the back of the net. But a lot of exciting wide players and wingers for Arsenal, and they'll be hoping they can put Watford to the sword. But Watford will be hoping they can get another clean sheet like they did at Old Trafford. And I know they rode their luck a little bit, but that is what Hodgson will bring. He will bring more solidity. It won't be fake solidity like Ranieri did, where it's all talk, no action. Hodgson will bring more discipline into that back line, and they will be harder to beat. And it could be the sort of game where they try and bully and they try and annoy and hassle Arsenal. We've seen Arsenal come unstuck in those sort of games in the past. They do have a little bit more steel about them, the Gooners, these days. They don't look like they're going to just choke and go under in these games. And I do think Arsenal will come out winners in this one. I think I'm going to go for Watford 0, Arsenal 2. Tottenham Hotspur versus Everton. They continue to be a basket case, don't they? Wow. I don't know what to say. I mean, I did call it. You can check my FA Cup video, but I did say Middlesbrough would knock Tottenham out in the FA Cup. I did say on penalties, but I did call it. And it's a mess. It's just a mess. And how long's Conte going to stay sitting in this mess for? Honestly, not getting. Is he going to get money? Do you think he's going to get a lot of money to spend? Because I don't think he's going to get a lot of money to spend. And again, it's another year where Tottenham don't win anything. It's another year where they flatter to deceive. They're not. I don't think they're going to finish top 4. They might scrape a Europa League place. They might get in the Conference League. But one thing is for sure, there will probably be another false dawn before the season is over. I'm really curious to see what Everton turns up at Tottenham. I'm expecting Everton to put on a pretty good show here. I'm expecting Lampard to go for the jugular here and try and beat a Spurs side where their fans are already kind of a bit pissed off. I think if Everton can get the first goal, I think that Tottenham Hotspur fan base will turn on their side. I haven't seen Everton beat Playbor and Wood yet, but I would have expected they did get through. Fingers crossed I got that right. I could look stupid here, and maybe they've got a bit of momentum going into this game from that. But definitely look more energetic and more purposeful under Frank. And hard to see them winning, isn't it, though? After I've talked them up, it's hard to see them go out on a limb and win it. Let's go for a draw. Why not? Sit on the fence in. 2-2. And finally, it is the Manchester derby of Manchester City versus Manchester United. Last time out, City toyed with United for 90 minutes. It was not the final nail, but it was pretty embarrassing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and pretty embarrassing for all Red Devils fans. So they will be desperate to put that right, desperate to pull one over on the noisy neighbours, desperate for City not to win the league. And Manchester United could put a serious dent in City's title hopes. They could not even be top of the league come the end of the weekend. And just to say that a month ago was almost laughable. That is how good Liverpool have been, and that is how just a couple of blips has let them back in the door. But City, they are an extraordinary side. So many talented players. You know that they could quite easily turn up and bury this Man United side if they want. It's up to Man United to really come up and match them. And I do think Manchester City will win the game. I don't think it'll be easy. I think they'll have to really work hard for it. And I think Man United might even take the lead. But I do think City will come back to win it in the end. And I think Manchester City will come through by 3 goals to 1. And there it is. Another round of Premier League fixtures in the books. We are getting to that business end of the season. I really am looking forward to this weekend of football. I think it's going to be an excellent one. Please hit like on this video if you liked it, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel but you like the content, think about hitting that subscribe button and the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to this weekend. Let me know who you think is going to win the league. Don't just give me a load of predictions. because and if you do give me some comment, I might actually respond to it. No promises, but overall, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.